What is up, Waffle Gang? My name is Matt. I hope you're having a great day so far. And today we're covering r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip that initial waffle, timestamps are down in the description below and along the timeline. But if you are new here, please consider hitting a like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And yesterday we had a new member over on Patreon. We met Charlotte Nichols. Thank you so much for your support. I can't tell you how much it really does mean to me. And for everyone for just, really supporting me, coming here on the daily to support this channel, I can't thank you enough. Just thank you. With that being said, let's get into today's stories. Much love, guys. And our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not letting my brother-in-law see my girls after he called CPS on me? I, female 33, lost my husband in an accident and he passed away shortly after he arrived at the hospital. We have two girls who are 9 and 5, and it's been very devastating and very difficult taking care of them while going through these tough times. My mom would help a lot, and I'm so thankful for that. My in-laws have been keeping to themselves, but my brother-in-law would visit often to see the girls. He has always wanted kids on his own, but hasn't been able to because his wife has medical issues. He treats my girls well and has been generous, but treats me poorly and makes comments and criticizes my parenting often. He implied he wanted to be their guardian, but I told him no. He started demanding I bring the girls over to my in-laws' house and would get upset when I tell him I have work. He claimed I'm clearly not taking care of the girls and don't fit to be a single parent. We got into a huge argument after I told him I no longer will be welcoming him into my house because of his behavior, and he then reported me to CPS after I refused to let him into my house. He claimed I'm not taking good care of my girls' needs / refusing to let them see their grandparents while being busy with work and other things I don't know about. I had to deal with CPS after they did a surprise visit, and thank goodness it went well, although I was told to deal with some issues that are very normal in every family. I told my in-laws about what my brother-in-law did, but didn't do anything. His wife was the one who told me eventually. It's been over a month now. My in-laws are calling me to tell me I should let my brother see the girls after I told them that only they see my girls. I refused to let him see the girls after what he did and the disrespect he's shown, but my in-laws are pressuring me, saying these are their granddaughters and I have no right to act like this just out of spite. Edit to say, the issues I'm dealing with are trying to balance my working hours with the time I spend with the girls. I have my mom either come over or take them over to her house so I can pick them up after I get off work. Another thing is therapy, and my girls are currently in therapy. I'm trying to take it slow, but it's just so overwhelming. And then I have to deal with my brother-in-law's behavior. It's just a lot for me, and there isn't anything more I want than to spend time with my girls, but I have to work, since no one is willing to help me with anything. I'm not the person who feels comfortable asking for help, so I do all I can. My brother-in-law says he wants to see the girls because it's been a while since he saw them. He misses them a lot, but I don't want him around after what he did. I can't even look at him after this. He made my grief worse, and I won't be able to forgive him soon. Neil definitely not going to be the asshole in this situation because, everything you're going through right now, you've lost your husband, your two girls are probably grieving like mad, as well as yourself, and your brother-in-law calls CPS on you. I can't imagine what would be going through your head, being told that you're a bad parent, and then having this brought up on you. That must be absolutely even devastating, even more. And then him implying that he wants to be a guardian to those children. Be interesting to know how that actually came up, how he approached that situation. But the only thing I can really say is reach out for help. There is help out there, and there will be people wanting to help you, And this will sound controversial in me saying it, and I'm not even sure if I'm correct in saying it, but, the brother-in-law in some way does have love for these girls. So maybe, I know it will probably take a very, very long time if you're going to do it at all, and I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. But if you do build that relationship back up and build those boundaries back up, he might be quite useful to help you out in the future. I don't know, I'm just throwing that one out there, and I might be totally wrong in saying that too. But let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. I lost a friend says, not the arsehole, he called CPS on you. Don't listen to anyone, seriously. If he was willing to do something so serious over something so small, I wouldn't trust him near my kids. Who knows what you will tell them / manipulate them. Drop Drill says, not the arsehole, the boy who cries wolf, who implies he wants to be your kid's guardian. He has no rights to see your kids. CPS is there to protect children, not to waste time as his tool. See a lawyer, have a plan for next time they call CPS on you. If you want to see these grieving yet unsupportive in-laws, have a couple of witnesses with you. You might need them. Consider visits in a neutral setting. Your house is your house. Keep it safe. Roswell says, not the arsehole, protect your girls. If your in-laws don't like it, they can also kick rocks. I do love those sayings. You're the parent. I'm so sorry for your loss. I know this must be difficult, and I wish you the best. And just work already says not the arsehole. None of your in-laws have any rights to see your child, and your brother-in-law was literally trying to take your kids away from you. To be honest, I would never let your brother-in-law lay eyes on your kids again after the bogus CPS call. Yeah, when you read that line saying he was literally trying to take your kids away from you, it sort of hits home again. I'm like, well, my opinion sort of just changes again. Well, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Today Maximum. Am I the arsehole for pretending not to know my wife when I was eating lunch with a prospective client? This happened earlier this week, but my wife has still not gotten over it. She even said something to me about it again tonight after I got home. She can't seem to let it go, even though I don't feel I did anything wrong. So here I am asking if I'm the arsehole. On Tuesday, I had a lunch meeting with a prospective client at a restaurant that sits across from the old courthouse in our town. There's been a group of protesters there for the last few months, but usually it's a small group, and it's only sporadically that they're there. On this day, they happen to be there. As background, my wife has never protested with that group and had never said anything about it. She claims that she has and has talked about it with me, but I have no memory of that. As far as I know, Tuesday was the first time that she'd ever joined them. After we'd been seated and gotten our drinks, I heard someone called out to me. I didn't recognize it as my wife, so I ignored it and kept talking to the prospective client. The person kept calling out my name, so I finally turned to see who it was, and I saw my wife come across the street with the protesters. It embarrassed me that she was shouting at me like that in public, so I didn't respond. Then my prospective client made a comment about the protesters that wasn't nice, so I felt like it was better not to say my wife was one of them. I asked him if we should leave and go somewhere that was quieter, and he agreed. My wife called out to me again and started to cross the street, but by then we were walking away and she didn't follow. She was livid when I got home that night and asked why I ignored her. I was honest and told her it was because she made a scene in public and embarrassed me in front of a potential client. She doesn't believe that justifies ignoring her, but I don't think she gave me much of a choice. That's basically where we are now. She thinks I was rude and disrespectful, and I think she was to blame for not telling me what she was doing or using better judgment. Now, initially, I got to tell you that this post is flared arsehole already, but, I can't see that OP is the arsehole in this situation, not for the initial question anyway. If someone was shouting at me when I was with a prospective client and I would expect my partner to respect what I was doing, surely she must have known what he was there for, perhaps, right? I think if you was meeting an important person, something that might make a change to your business or something like that, you would mention it to your partner about it, that you're going somewhere today to have a meeting about working with someone. So from someone to just shout from the other side of the street and just keep shouting at you when you're in this conversation would be rude in itself. I think even if it wasn't a client, it was just a couple of friends and your partner saw you with someone that you didn't know and you just start shouting across to them, I think that would still be rude in itself. However, OP is an arsehole of this situation too, because when they mention they'd never seen their wife with these protesting group before, it sounds like OP doesn't know what his wife is protesting, so is he listening to his wife when she's talking about it? Kyuda thought she should bring up her passions as well. Sounds though a weird scenario, but let's go to the comments below to see what they say. Sensitive Ad says, I'm actually going not the arsehole. If someone doesn't answer you after 3 shouts at them, there's a reason why. You were on work hours and apparently have to dine your clients, and she was at a protest. I've not been to a protest that doesn't include some form of swearing and shouting. Generally, not appropriate language. The fact that she kept shouting and then following you was a bit much. It would have been nothing for her to text you if you saw her, or her to ask about it after work. Madam Burner says, you're the arsehole, not for ignoring your wife, but for literally having no idea what she was protesting. She sounds like she really cares about her, and your response is, well, everyone is protesting everything nowadays, so who knows? Runway888 says, you're the arsehole. OP, I've read your post and your early responses. You say your wife can be overzealous, but also that you don't remember what her causes are, and you think it might have been over Confederate displays. But again, you're not sure. Oh, and you're in law. Since you're in law, I'm sure you're familiar with the term plausible deniability. You're an arse. You know that you're being an arse. You're not even good at masquerading it, which makes me think you're probably not a very good lawyer. If you think this sum is by this shit you're trying to sell, you're in for a rude awakening. Your wife may be overzealous and may have overstepped, but if you actually talk to her, which will require you actually remembering the conversation, you may have known where she would be protesting, what she would be protesting. Then you could either avoid this situation by taking the client elsewhere or asking her not to approach you if she happened to see you regardless of what your opinion of the protest is. Now, there seems to be a lot of comments talking about OP's replies in this situation, so let's go and have a look directly on OP's profile and see their comments. What are the responses to Madame Berner from OP was, I'm just not involved. I intentionally don't read political news and don't often use my social media accounts. I try as much as possible not to be involved with any of that because it adds a lot of unnecessary stress. I also don't like conflict or offending people. I do listen to her, but a lot of it just doesn't register because I don't pay attention to a lot that is going on. So you hear her, but you don't listen basically. Another reply of his to some was, I'm not political. I care that she cares, but I don't care beyond that. And another one that just says she has so many causes, hard to keep track of them all, and it all changes from week to week. And there is so many comments from maybe, I probably could just make a video just on him replying. But it's just constant defense and, all of them together just sounds like he listens to his wife, but like I said, doesn't pay attention to what she actually says. So doesn't really care what she's actually doing in her day-to-day, what she's actually protesting in her beliefs, which, is a bit sad in my opinion. But I might be wrong. I've been wrong many times before. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And don't forget to vote in that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from Puzzle-Headed. Am I the arsehole for entrapping my students? Yesterday, before I gave my students a test, I got an amazing idea. I simply made a Quizlet with all the questions to the test and mostly wrong answers. I published the Quizlet a minute before the test started, and as I guess, several students used the Quizlet to cheat. I've been pretty adamant about academic honesty, and this honestly pissed me off. I just gave everyone that used the Quizlet a big, fat 0. The test was 20 questions with 4 different answers, so it's pretty unlikely that I had a false negative. I talked to the dean afterward, and he said it was perfectly fine that I did it, though he didn't want me to make this a habit. When I told my wife about it, she got a bit mad with me, saying that what I did was basically entrapment. I disagree. I gave them proper studying material that was entirely correct. They couldn't have studied this fake Quizlet since it was uploaded literal minutes before the test became open. She still thinks I should give them another chance with a redo test. I disagree. So, am I the asshole? Now, this is one of those judgments that could potentially go both ways because, no one likes a cheater. Say the students definitely are the assholes in this situation because, they're cheating. But I can also see it from if you're a student, you don't want this extra pressure on you where you're being caught out by someone. And, yes, you shouldn't be caught out unless you're cheating, right? Because if you actually read the material, you should be absolutely fine. But also going on the assumption that it's pretty unlikely that you had a false negative. I don't know, can you do that? Can you go on the assumption? It doesn't sit well with me, I gotta say. So personally, I think just everyone sucks here in this story, and I know I might get slammed about that, and the teacher might be right because people shouldn't be cheating, people should have known the answers, but just because of that false negative thing, there is a chance. There is a chance there. So I think everyone sucks in this story, in my opinion, but let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Jazz says, you're the arsehole, I hope you took it down. Other students in other classes could be going off your false answers. Academic honesty, indeed. Ruby Queen says, you're the arsehole. As a future teacher, I see you having no business being a teacher. Iceburn says, you're the arsehole, but barely. It would have been better as an object lesson so that the scores don't count. Maybe give a little extra credit to the students who didn't cheat. Sunburn says, you're the arsehole, take it down. I'm studying for exams right now, and the last thing me and other students need is a Quizlet with incorrect answers. Bol Kenny says, not the arsehole. It's really pissed me off that so many responses you're getting are vilifying you and not your students. I'm guessing a lot of users here cheat with Quizlet. What you did was a little raunchy, but that's life and cheaters shouldn't win. I'm on the pre-med track at university and I've had other students making fake Quizlets to mislead others and get ahead. You can't rely on Quizlet in a competitive environment. You gave them real resources and they couldn't be bothered. That's on them, not you. Life lesson learned hopefully, but you should come up with a better solution for enforcing academic integrity. Killing your dude says absolutely not the arsehole. These you're the arsehole posts personally attacking you and saying you're a bad educator, smack of high schooler entitlement, and serve as a reminder that Reddit sees a ton of traffic from lazy students. And the read still replies to saying, right, I've seen several comments saying things like, the fact that so many students felt compelled to use the quiz that says a lot about your lack of teaching ability. Bruh, do these people not realize how many students are just lazy as F? Don't blame the teacher because many students choose to skip class, not study, and shut to tests unprepared. Students choosing to cheat is not reflective of the teacher's ability. Threads like these are a constant reminder the subreddit is mostly high schoolers who have a problem with authority figures. Now, what do you guys think of that story? As I said, it could potentially go both ways. I think everyone sucks here, just from the reasons I mentioned. But what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Throw Sis and I the answer for having a breakdown after my sister's announcement. I've been struggling to conceive for the past 9 years. It's been a very brutal journey for me and my husband. We have experienced many disappointments. My sister is also happily married, and they adopted 2 teenagers who are also siblings. I've stopped going to my sister for any emotional support, as her advice has always been, just adopt. I know that she thinks the fact that I want to spend so much money on fertility treatments instead of adopting is stupid. In the past few years, I haven't spoken to my sister because my life revolved around the treatments, and I didn't have any time for her negativity. The whole experience changed a lot of things in my life. Everything is sometimes heartbreaking, and I get irrationally emotional. I am pro-choice, and I know that in my brain, when someone mentions that they had an abortion, I immediately see red. I usually remove myself from the situation. I feel very bad/guilty for even thinking some awful things about women. Recently, we had a family dinner for our parents' anniversary, and she seemed a little off. My mum kept asking her what happened. At first, she wouldn't tell what happened. After dinner, me, mum, and my sister were sitting in the living room while the guys and the kids were outside. My sister was grimacing, and my mum asked her again what happened. She confided that she recently had an UTC and had to abort. She said that she already had 2 kids and doesn't want more. I froze. I'd always assumed that my sister was also facing problems, which is why she adopted. It felt like a punch to the gut to find out that that wasn't the case. Worse, my mother was gushing and telling my sister how proud she was of her and that she was so brave. Something broke in me. I yelled, I screamed, I said some awful things. I said that our family wasn't real and that she was an idiot for having an abortion. I told her the fact that she would have an abortion for them was stupid. I told her that she wasn't even a woman because she couldn't appreciate the joys of pregnancy. I told her that she was going to regret doing this when they turn 18 and forget all about her. I stormed out after that after having another breakdown in my own house. I felt guilty and ashamed. I called my sister and mother the next day and told them I was sorry. Both of them were incredibly pissed at me, especially because the kids overheard me telling me that they weren't her real kids. I've been informed that they were all going to cut contact with me. I've apologized and tried to explain my side of things, and they weren't willing to listen. I don't think I should lose my family for a mistake, but I don't know. Am I the asshole? You know, you say you made a mistake in this story, but it's a bit more than just a little mistake, isn't it, in the end? So I can totally see where your family is coming from. It's like, yes, you're sensitive to these issues, but you brought it all out, and that was totally wrong of you to do so. And there's quite a lot of comments on this one too, as you can probably imagine, so I'm going to head straight down to those to see what they say. Nut Michelle says, you're the asshole. You don't think you should lose your family over a mistake. I agree. A mistake would be accidentally backing into your sister's car after family dinner. This wasn't that. The hateful shit that came out your mouth was inexcusable. Period. The other Zebra replies to this comment saying, hi OP, I was adopted as a baby. People like you make my life miserable from the time I was a small child. Too many people out there think we deserve less or should never get to be a part of a real family, all because of shit completely cut out of our control. I'm almost 30 and I certainly never forgot about my parents when I turned 18. That's utter nonsense. We wouldn't walk away from the only parents to care about us. Why do you think people like me and your sister's kids deserve to be second class? I get you're in pain about being unable to conceive, but taking that pain out on someone who did not cause the problem is just huge asshole behavior, especially to kids. If they have to be adopted at that age, they've likely already been treated horribly. Your pain does not give you any justification to increase theirs. You're the asshole and your sister is being a good parent by keeping you away from her kids. Midwest Patient says 100% you're the arsehole. Flipping out occasionally can happen to anyone in extreme situations, I guess. That being said, you went so far outside the norm here, I don't think this can even be called a normal temper tantrum. You went for the kill. You insulted her integrity, you insulted her family, you insulted her kids. There are times that apologies are not enough. This is one of those times. You cause a lot of damage and pain deliberately. You need to do some hard thinking of why you reacted so badly. You may need therapy. You may need a time out from your family because you're not thinking clearly. You may need to cut contact with your teenage relatives because seeing you is going to hurt them for a long time. You do not deserve forgiveness until you take actual effort to better yourself, and even then, it is on their terms and their timeline, not yours. Then this was your idea says, you're the arsehole. Your sister tried to convince you to adopt because that's what worked for her. That's her perspective. Not spending much time with her was certainly your choice, and it made sense as she couldn't really support you. The mistake you made was first assuming your sister adopted because of infertility issues. People adopt for multiple reasons. I find it inexcusable that you told your sister her family wasn't real. I don't care what hormones you're on, and to also say your sister isn't a real woman because she doesn't want to be pregnant, the thing you said were monstrous, and if you really feel this way, then I would advise your sister, if she were here, to never speak to you again, especially for the sake of her children. If you really can't think of those poor kids who've been through so much in their lives, then I doubt your ability to parent, even if you did have a baby. If you really don't feel this way, but think the hormones are messing with your brain, then stop and think about what your obsession to having a natural birth has cost you. It's making you a bad person, and you're losing your family, and you'll likely lose your husband too, as you become this bitter and resentful. Who would want to live with someone like that? Stop the treatments, grieve your loss, move on. Wow, what a story. Now, what do you guys think of this situation? How would you deal with it? What do you think of OP? What should she do to better herself? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that poll in the description for story 4. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed today's stories and the stories that's been going on over the past week or so. We've been getting some double uploads in there. Whoa, it's been quite a surprise to me as well. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. A huge thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.